in the video game.
Initial reaction, the first thing that impressed me about this was the fact that everything, every minute detail is covered. You know, look at the shadows, look at the detail in the shadows, the gun looks really cool. And then this map. You talked earlier about, to me personally about this map. Just explain what we talked about.
Yeah, well, you know, it's really important for us to not only create this really believable, rich world, but it's also critically important that we keep the player in it. As soon as the player is switching in and out of a pause menu to look at a map and figure out where he needs to go, he's always just breaking the immersive qualities of the game. We want to keep it in the game. We want him to feel the sort of red dirt. We want him to feel the grime in his guns and the blood and the sweat that's really carrying him through this world.
So you can no longer use a map to nip off and get a cup of tea?
No.
Perfect. All right, now this is an impressive part of the game. Let's get the hang glider.
Sure, yeah, I mean, hang glider is kind of a signature Far Cry element, and we needed to make sure we kept it in the game. Most importantly, it's not used for flying around in sort of corridors to get you between open parts of a level. Our game world is a fully continuous, dynamic, streaming 50 square kilometers of open world. You never have a load screen anywhere. You're free to go anywhere you want in that world at any time. Improvise your tactics, make your own decisions about how you want to address the game's challenges.
And one thing that is so impressive about this game is you very rarely see something twice whilst playing it.
Of course, the world is very, very large, and you travel all around it. Obviously, there are certain places you have to go, but there's also lots of time to look around and explore. Right? You see some things twice, you can see zebras twice. There's a pair of them. The animal AI, like the human AI, is autonomous and they're needs driven. So these zebras are down here probably to get a drink by the little river there, or to eat some grass or whatever. Part of creating this rich, believable open world is filling it with life, even in the difficult scenario that takes place in the game.
Just heard an elephant.
Filling it with that feeling that it's really a living world around you is what gives it its credibility and makes it really, really rich and believable. Now John's going to move up onto this ridge line here, and just by way of a teaser, as I said, he's going to raid a little camp that's up through this little thicket here. See, as he gets close enough and he takes out his map, now he has a very detailed map of the immediate vicinity, maybe only 100 meters on the side. And he can use this map as well as his binocular to kind of scout this camp. And when he spots something like a vehicle, he can press a button which will add information about the vehicles in the camp to his map so that he can begin to formulate a plan about how he might like to handle the problem that's been put in front of him.
So the more you discover, the more you look through the binocular, the more you find, the more detailed your map gets and makes it easier to play.
Absolutely. I mean, the idea is to give the player the very strong feeling of making rich facts about how he's going to conduct a raid. Like here, he's seen that guard patrolling past, there's a pile of ammunition that's in storage there. He's going to be able to take that, use his binocular to mark that on his map, and then he'll, again, have more information about the location, and he'll be able to make more of a plan about how best to approach the problem of getting through this camp.
That's moving close, come on.
Yeah, he's going to go in.
And all the natural elements have a big role to play in this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, a really important thing to point out is this grass isn't, fake grass. These aren't fake trees. These are real simulated trees that are blowing in a real wind. They're real dynamic assets. They're not animated. They're real procedural content. Because of that, he can use those, in combination with things like wind and fire to his advantage. John's actually going to use this mine to set a trap here in case the enemy comes looking for him and decides to use this vehicle with his mounted weapon against him. He'll have it lined up with that explosive there, and then he's going to move over to the side and probably start a fire. John usually likes to start fires. So he threw a Molotov into a fuel store there.
Now these bad guys, once they hit, they don't give up, do they?
No, these guys are pretty tenacious. They're maneuverable, they're fast, they're aggressive. That's why, he needs to have a good plan to make a raid on a camp like this. Look at this fire that he's got going. This is completely cut off one side of this camp. The AI isn't going to be able to maneuver there. The AI isn't going to be able to respond with that fire cutting off their approach or their escape. And this isn't scripted. Everything that's happening here is systemic and dynamic. John's improvising as he fights. He's picking his targets. He's using the information he gathered. And you can see the village beside him is completely in flames. It's procedural fire. It's not scripted. It's not fake. This is a fire that spreads in the direction of the wind, consumes the assets. Here's an enemy using a truck to try and take him out. So
So not everything is written in concrete. Not everything is, you've got to go here, you've got to go there.
It's not that not everything is written in concrete, it's that nothing is written in concrete. It's a really organic, dynamic system.
Oh, we've got out there heavy artillery now.
John's just going to make his way to the other side of the canyon now that he took out that vehicle and maybe find another vehicle that he had marked on the map. Use that to make a hasty escape. Like I said, it's a teaser. We have a full 20-minute demo in theater showing off completely different locations, completely different gameplay that you're all welcome to come and see tomorrow. And in addition to that, we have a full hands-on demo on Xbox, PS3, and PC. And you will get to see that, in fact, all the console versions are running exactly the same game as you're seeing on PC here right now.
Great stuff. Think you'll agree.